So a follow-up question I have is a lot of permanent residents who come, they get a Canadian equivalent assessment done while they are outside, and that's how their selection happens. So when you say a university degree, do they need to have university degree in Canada, or the equivalent from their home country helps as the criteria?
Yes, great question. Thank you. To clarify on that, it does not need to be completed in Canada, but we do need the Canadian equivalency assessment done in Canada. So we have a number of different organizations that will perform the equivalencies assessment. We don't do it ourselves. You have WES, World Education Services. We accept the IQAS, ICAS. There's a number of them, and you can go on the website and there will be a list of the organizations that we accept the equivalency assessment to be completed.
Does serving in Canadian Armed Forces make you eligible for pension? If yes, what is the minimum number of years you need to be in for getting a pension, and perks of being in Canadian Armed Forces?
Yes. Okay. So for pension, yes, we do offer pension both for full-time employment with the regular force and even as a part-time employee with the reserves, you're still paying into a pension. However, it's not the same full pension with the same benefits.
Right.
And I'm not expert enough to go into the incredibly intricate details of the pension programs and how they work out. But I do know as a general rule of thumb that they're looking for 25 years of service, full-time service to be eligible for the full pension. But there's tons of calculations and rules that go into it. So I don't want to go into the details and get anything wrong, but all of that information is available online. If you go to canada.ca, there's pension information.
Some countries, for a non-commissioned officer, they want a minimum of 17 to 18 years, which includes their training part, to be eligible for pension. And when it comes to the officer cadre, minimum of 20 years, which does not include your training. Once you do that, and once you have, done your pensionable service, whatever your last drawn salary is, 50% of that becomes your pension when it starts. And then, of course, it is adjusted according to inflation and many other factors. But I know it's difficult to make an interpretation.
As a reservist, I paid into the part-time pension program for my career. And when I switched over to full-time, if you do a minimum of 5 years of full-time service, continuous, you are eligible for the regular force pension, even though I'm a reservist. So I know that from my own personal experience. And I also know that there are elaborate calculations that go into play depending on how many years you've served and how many, if you've been switching between full-time and part-time like myself, how many of those days were part-time and how many were full-time. So again, I can't speak to the exact details of the program, but I can tell you that they're extremely helpful